head covering plus a bonnet. I have my eye protection under here, the waterproof face shield for splashing. If I was really working, I'd have on scrubs and a gown, and this waterproof apron. I have my utility gloves, and full PPE, I would have shoe coverings on, all just to prevent splashing. So the first part of decontamination is the pre-cleaning. So I've picked 4 instruments. I've got tissue forceps with teeth. I've got some Forester and Metzenbaum scissors and a Yankar suction, which we didn't have metal, we got plastic. So first thing I'm going to do is turn on the water. And I know that the water should be between 60 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've got to turn it all the way up to sink water. It'll get hot. This would be a stainless steel basin. And I just want to see, I've got sticky stuff in there. So I'm going to have to do some scrubbing. A lot of peanut butter and ketchup is gunky. So I'm just going to put it in there and just use the nozzle to spray it off. What temperature did I say? Did I say 60?
60 to
80 to 110. 60 is too cold. So this is my first rinse. Ideally in decontamination area there would be 3 sinks. One for the initial wash, the second for the first rinse, and the third for the final rinse. Right, so I'm just trying to get rid of gross soil right now. And if this was blood or tissue products, I'd keep it under the water and make sure the box joint got rinsed, and also the serrated ends and the rings. Same thing for the scissors, the rings. I'm going to keep this underwater because I do want to keep from splashing any of that material up. Make sure the shanks are good. Open and close the scissors. I want to get into all the cracks and crevices. And the tissue forceps. See if I can get most of this off before I scrub. And as you can see, these tissue forceps in the grooves, there's material that I want to try to rinse off as much as possible before I scrub. And finally, the Yankar section, which has some stuff inside, so I'm going to have to definitely swab that. All right. So now I'm going to fill the sink, and I'm using Dawn dish detergent because that's what we have. But I would use a low-level detergent like quartz if I was in the decontamination area. So I'm going to fill the sink up. Turn the water back up. And so I've got a couple pieces of equipment. I have this syringe for the Yankar suction, a disposable sponge so I can scrub. And it needs to be disposable because you can't really clean a sponge well enough to get all the microorganisms off of it. A brush and a pipe cleaner. I think I just need the brush for this one. So as the sink fills up, I'll get my low-level detergent and take my instruments and put them in the sink. And none of my instruments have a warning against putting in the water, so they can be completely submerged. Okay. Let me see, what else do I want to tell you about this? Submerge. I'm waiting on this. Right. Okay, hit pause for a second.
It stops it completely.
Yeah, it'll start again. Okay. So this would be my low-level dish detergent, quartz, and I read that quartz contains the benzocolonium. I know I'm not saying that, but benzocolonium chloride, and it's the most commonly used. So I'm going to go ahead, do a couple of squirts. All right. And I have enough water in here now to completely submerge all those instruments. So I'm going to go ahead and wash. I'm going to start with the scissors, and I'm using the disposable brush, and I'm just going to go in the direction. This one doesn't really have any serrations, but I'm going in one direction, keeping it underwater because I want to avoid any splashing. Get the shank, the ring holders. It's hard to remember to keep it underwater. All right, turn it on the other side. Okay. I'm just going to set this over here, waiting on the next round. Get the Forsters. Now these do have serrated teeth and the ratchet, so I'm going to make sure I go in the direction, one direction again. And I'm going to start at the ring holders, and then I'm going to go first side of the ratchet, turn it over, second, get the shank, box lock, oops. All right, and then I'm going to get the end tips. And I'm going in one direction. I'm going to lift it out so you can see. One direction. On the next side, I'm going to observe in that box lock because I'm thinking that gross material could get right in between here. So I really want to make sure that I don't see anything. And if I needed to, I could go ahead and, this is too big, but I can scrub into those crevices to make sure I get everything out. Okay. Another one. And this is my tissue forceps with teeth. Now this one does have a lot of spots and nicks and crannies that things can get into. And especially down here at the joint, I want to make sure I keep this underwater. And once again, one direction, all the way down. I want to get those teeth. Lift it up so you can see. Okay. And I want to get all the way into those cracks, because that's a good place for tissue and blood to get stuck right in there. Okay. Set that to the side. And the last one is this Yankar suction tip. So we do the outside, one direction, all the way down to the tip. And then I'm going to go ahead and scrub it out on the inside. So this is going all the way into the tip. I'm just gonna take it back and forth. Okay. All right. Set this out. Do my water. Go ahead and pause it. I'm gonna leave. Okay, so now I'm rinsing out the sink to get rid of the detergent, so I can go for the first rinse. And I did read that you would want to use water quality matters. So you would want to use critical water, which means it's been treated to remove any organic, inorganic materials and microorganisms. So not just plain tap water. Let me wipe this out. Let's go for that first rinse. Alright, so we're gonna once again keep it under the running water, open up all the joints, rinse off any of the bioburden or any of the film that might have been left behind from the detergent. Each instrument. Getting in that box joint. The ratchets on both sides. And the serrated teeth on the Forester. And like I said, just let the water make sure it's coming all the way through. Tissue forceps. I'm keeping everything low because I'm still avoiding any splash. And this yank guard suction, I'm keeping it down towards so it's running into the sink. And I'm really just sliding it back and forth. Okay. And I'm going to repeat that one more time. This will be in the third sink, the final rinse. Almost got it splashed. Back and forth. Let the water come out a little bit. Alright, so now that I've washed everything, I'm ready for the next step. So the next step after I've cleaned the instruments, I'm going to put them in another rack and I'm going to send them to an ultrasonic cleaner as the water makes a lot of noise. Okay. All right, so the next step is the mechanical cleaner, the ultrasonic cleaner, and that works off of cavitation, meaning that the low pressure bubbles, they cause the soil to be dislodged by imploding them on the instrument. So it kind of really just, any little cracks that I didn't get, it's gonna push the little bubbles up through there and the residue will float out. Once I'm done with the sonic cleaner, I'm gonna move on to the mechanical washer. And that works off impingement, and that's high pressure spray that's going to remove any bioburden. And then I'm ready to let them dry and get them ready to be sterilized. So I think that's it for this week. Thank you.